It's fine, Angela. Sorry, guys, my kid is studying here and he also has a bit of a cough. Right, let's do this. So this is assignment 2. As with assignment 1, remember the allocation here. In terms of the allocation, please give me a decent introduction and conclusion. And then obviously a brief outline. Please don't say outline, brief outline. And then also I have to look for logical flow in terms of paragraphs. Now, at this stage, I think at this stage, we need to transition to using linking and transitioning sentences because that creates the flow. And so for me, if I'll give an example while I go through this writing style, and then you can see the expectation. Please remember, in Word, there is an editor function. Please use the editor function and get your score up to 100%. Absolutely essential that you do that. And then, yeah, just some of the other bits and pieces. Stay away from slang. Don't do the gangster thing. And then, yeah, we need decent sources that make sense. Right. At this stage, I am going to remind everyone again that that when you use sources, please make sure that they're peer reviewed. I am frustrated with my classes who keep using things like bloody mind tools, and I had more Investopedias. Investopedia sounds so amazing. It is not a peer-reviewed source. Business balls. Honestly, just stay away from these things because it irritates me. And after your first assignment, on your second assignment, I am going to take marks off for it if you use non-peer reviewed sources. Steph, yeah. Guys, can I quickly ask? I've shown you how to use Google as a form of getting to some peer reviewed sources. So, okay. So if you are uncertain, and I just am going to do it again, sorry. So just go to Google and search. Let me see what one of these questions is. So drivers of globalization, Starlink, etc., etc., etc. Okay. So if we had to do this, drivers, oh, golly, sorry, globalization. Simple matter, just go scholarly articles. Scholarly articles. Guys, there they are. Okay. That second one, actually, just by the title, looks pretty impressive. Please just hold on a second. Okay, this one's not great. But just remember, guys, if you can't find anything here, okay, so if you can't find anything here, please remember to use EBSCOhost or Emerald. Okay. Now, I don't know. Now, obviously, Wiley, we must connect to Wiley. So hold on a second. Do you want me to share this article with you? Okay, there we go. Let's have a glance at this one. I just want to see 2021. I'll give this one as well to you, okay, guys, and then you can use that. Just grab it. But I'm not going to do more. I think you guys know what you're doing, and I know at this stage you guys know how to use EBSCOhost, and I also know that you guys know how to use Emerald and those kind of databases. Right, let's do the assignment. So in terms of the drivers of globalization, when we go to my slides, which truthfully, guys, should you be your default setting. So you're looking at Learning Unit 4, Strategic Global Advantage. You're looking at that one there. In terms of drivers, I'm just going to cheat DRIVER. What is going on? Okay, there they are. So we're looking at Learning Unit 4, slides 11, 12. Yeah. So oh goodness me, my apologies, slides 11 and 12. Learning Unit 4, slides 11 and 12. Sorry, hold on a second. LU4, slides 11 to 12. I will upload this once this is done. Okay, now this obviously is your assessment of it. Guys, please, you might have to do a little bit further reading than this, okay? You might want to do a bit further. This is an astonishing textbook, though, and it is really valuable in terms of if you plan to pursue postgraduate studies with us as well, because it is a summary of your one international business textbook in one chapter. It's a wonderful, wonderful textbook to hang on to. Okay. So you have to discuss the drivers. So if we very rapidly look at the drivers, so I think generally the biggest driver, and it's done in reverse a little bit, but the biggest driver is always going to be advances in technology. So in terms of speeding up the pace with which we can communicate, with which we can transport goods and services, are key in terms of how we have changed the entire globe into a single world economy. One of the things that we just need to caution about, despite the fact that we've seen these significant advances in terms of globalization, we've seen some anti-globalization moves as well. So there were three main ones. I don't know if you guys can think of kinds of events that have spelled a bit of anti-globalization behavior, anti-integration behavior. Can anyone think of the main three events in the last, oh goodness me, 8 or so years, give or take? Yeah, three main events. The first one, guys, was Brexit. Brexit essentially the fact that Britain moved away from the EU. It is an anti-integration type activity. The second one is Donald Trump in terms of make America great again. And you remember, yeah, no, Steph, yeah, that's an interesting one. The war, and I'll talk about that. So make America great again, where Trump said we will start manufacturing and doing things internally. And then there was an announcement by China that in terms of their electronics industry, and we know that they have a significant footprint in terms of electronics globally, is that they'll become fully self-sufficient by 2030. So all their supply chains would be internal to China and wouldn't involve other countries, which also is an indication why we should be very concerned globally about Hong Kong and China, because I have a feeling that Russia and the Ukraine has given China and Ping the platform to actually physically and violently take over Hong Kong. Yes, did you see that, Hendrik? I mean, that is such a good point, Boya. In terms of Taiwan, you guys might have seen that America has given Taiwan 8 billion in aid in terms of weaponry and other bits and pieces. Taiwan is a target for them. So when we think of them talking about becoming fully self-sufficient, what you do is you just take over two of the main providers to the rest of the globe in terms of electronics inputs and components, etc. Yeah, I think there was $8 billion given to Taiwan to ready themselves against it. Oh yeah, absolutely. TSMC, yeah, that's the one, to ready themselves against China. That's a good point, Boyo. So the first one are the advances. We've also seen advances, guys, in terms of transportation. We move things very, very rapidly now, and the speed at which we move things is improving as well. And I think we need to remember, with drone technologies, etc., it changes the world in terms of what is reachable. We see, for example, in Rwanda, drone technologies being used to deliver medicine to rural areas that generally would have been very tough to get to. And then, guys, we've also seen facilitating financial activities, because when we think of the definition of globalization, it is the free movement of products, services, skills, and finances across traditional boundaries. And finances in the form of foreign direct investment. And that was the bits and pieces I shared earlier with you guys. And then the idea of global logistics and sourcing. So you design in Germany, you market in America, and you manufacture in China, because that's what happens now. And we've seen, because of advances in info and transportation technology, we have this ability to source globally. Right. So the second one is GATT, and so the General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs. My apologies. And the World Trade Organization. So if we have a glance at those two very rapidly, GATT, General Agreement on. So in terms of, let me find a reasonable one. Yeah, here it is. I know that's the World Trade. I can use that. Sorry, I can use that. Um, so there is what GATT is about. I will share it in this bit here for you guys that want to. Steph, absolutely. And I didn't know that, but it's not strange that we could use drones to do that. To be honest with you, yeah, I've become quite, yeah, delusioned with what is it, disillusioned, my apologies, the brain's not working, disillusioned with where I am. And I have a PhD, and yeah, I've got 4 more years before I retire, and I'm very keen to take work at a university over there. That stays between us, but yeah, it is a modern country with world-class practices and systems. Guys, the general agreement on trade and tariffs, and then also what the World Trade Organization does, it is there to promote free trade. Sorry, it's there to promote free trade. So that's the one that I want. It's there to promote free trade. And it really is trying to set rules for trade between nations, and trying to move to a point where we don't have import duties, where we don't have import taxes, where we don't penalize other countries, where the thinking behind it is the success of one nation um, drives the success of another, which drives the success of another, because we become inputs and receivers of each other's products. Yeah, this has been around for a heck of a long time. Um, yeah, there's lots of pushback against it. In particular, saying that in Africa, the World Trade Organization has promoted the exploitation, the killing off, and just the robbing of resources that 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 should have stayed in Africa. I'm not going to comment on that at this stage. So their job is to remove the barriers to foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment is when another nation invests in yours. Um, where is that? It's that one that I want. No, I don't want to discuss that. It is this one, sorry. But this site, and I did share this with you guys. Hold on a second. I caught a bit here. I hope I didn't close this now. Yeah, and then in terms of the requirements here, I did have one, and there it is, you silly Billy. So this one is interesting. It gives us trends in terms of foreign direct investment, and I don't want to do too much of an analysis here, but it's quite interesting how America, the United States, still receives so much foreign direct investment flowing into it. It's an indication of a developed nation. It's an indication of a winning nation. And then, yeah, just to say, Steph, yeah, look at that. 22nd in the world. Sadly, yeah, I don't think there's an African country on here, is there? So Brazil is interesting because it's part of BRICS, which makes it quite strange that we're part of BRICS or the extended BRICS now. India, but there's been a big decline in India this year already. But you can see the amount of investments provided in terms of the different nations. Look at China. And so we're part of BRICS, China and Brazil and India. Okay, Russia shouldn't be on here because of invading the Ukraine. So you still sometimes question what the heck are we doing in BRICS? Any comments on those, guys? Any ones that are interesting and stand out? To just say this will obviously change now because of what has happened towards the end of 23 and what's happened in 24. Any questions, any comments about that? So yeah, I've shared some articles on it. Please have a glance at that. And it's quite interesting to see how developed nations keep developing more because of foreign direct investment. Oh, the one that I found a little bit perplexing was, sorry, hold on, was Australia. Australia is a small nation, but look at that, guys. Jumped from there to there now, because that is their 2021 rating. It's a big jump, guys. It's a big, big, big jump. New Zealand didn't make it, which I was a little bit surprised about, but this is the top 20 or whatever the case may be. A number of South American places there. Interesting. I found this quite interesting. Okay, please have a glance at that, guys. We need to start. Absolute, Hendrik. But can I just say, Boya, if you want to see big decreases, now also to just say that's obviously that list in terms of what is shown. But if you want to see, look at that. But we're not getting it right. we're not getting it right in our nation. I mean, look at this. It's disturbing. It is disturbing, and you can see the reason for it: electricity and corruption and all the usual nonsense. And we thought that being part of the extended BRICS will make these big changes, but I don't know. Yeah, a little bit frustrating, guys. And then other drivers for globalization. So these trade blocks, free trade areas. Give me examples of trade blocks, free trade areas. You guys should know this stuff. Bloody scary stuff, Hendrik. Bloody scary stuff, boy. So, guys, the EU is one of those trade blocks, free trade areas, European Union. In South Africa, we supposedly part of SADC. In the past, and my apologies, I keep forgetting what it's called, and a better lecturer would be lecturing with notes in front of him, but that's unfortunately not who I am. So if we look here, an interesting one is NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. Now, this has changed, the name has changed recently, but it is the agreement between Canada, Mexico, and America. I know that they've given it a new name. There it is, USMCA. Okay. So it is updated. It is slightly different. That happened obviously under Donald Trump, but I still, and most people still talk about NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. There's one that's called ASEAN, and that's those specific rim countries are in the ASEAN group. Yeah, those are the ones. Well done, Steph. Yeah. Now remember, BRICS is some new extended BRICS. Well done. Okay, I didn't see you type there. My apologies, guys. And then other reasons, multinationals. If we look at the top 100 wealthiest economies in the world, 69 of those are multinationals. So two-thirds of the wealthiest economies globally are multinationals. So Google and Microsoft and Mercedes and those kinds of brands are honestly capable of buying countries if they wanted to. So multinationals are those, um, sorry guys, are those businesses that have a footprint across the globe. And then global competition, guys. One of the ways to deal with global competition is to get to economies of scale. The easiest way to get to economies of scale is to mass produce and sell to many people. And when you want to sell to many people, you want to sell to many people across the world, because local markets become saturated very, very rapidly. And then the idea of cultural homogenization. Um, this is now not for me because I am over the hill and very ancient. But can I just check, guys? Give me what is the current trend globally? What are some of the current trends globally? Steph, aren't you one of the hip chicks? Knows exactly what's going on in terms of trends. What are the trends at the moment? Hannah, tell me what the trends are. Hendrik, Ruchil, what are the trends? Maybe I'll be maybe being old school is a new trend. Who knows? Um, any trends that are happening globally? Anything on Instagram, TikTok? Any new challenges and any idiocy on these things? But for me, cultural homogenization is a teenager in Tokyo dresses, looks, listens to the same music, supports the same brands as a teenager in Johannesburg, as a teenager in New York, as a teenager in Brisbane. The simple truth is that we have these global brands that we embrace, and trends happen very quickly. TikTok, yeah, TikTok has been trending. I admit that I actually don't have TikTok. I don't watch TikTok, but yeah, I don't have TikTok. I think the Chinese are going to, yeah, Spotify. You're right, Steph. That is a big one at the moment. I have got Spotify, just for the record, okay? I have got Spotify only because my oldest son pays for it, but I have to pay for my middle son. So I don't know why. Okay, guys. Hannah, any trends? Who here are? They are. They do. They really do. I want to, but you know how psychotically busy my life is. My life is ridiculous, Steph, and I know I need to make time because he's my boy. He is my boy. Um, who here are people who here dresses in the latest brands and are brand conscious, know what brands they have, stick to certain brands, or a walking advertisement for certain brands? Hannah, only for technology. Hannah, what are the brands that you wear? I'm looking at Hannah's photograph, and I just think Hannah has all the latest brands and the latest tech, and you're an Apple family. Very cool. Someone else has to join that prison. Okay. Well, Crocs, man. Yeah, Crocs have become the latest thing. Sorry, I'm laughing. Can I just say, my oldest son's girlfriend loves her Crocs, and she wears it to rest, drives him insane. So what I found on Take a Lot for Christmas is I found headlights for Crocs. So I bought it just to annoy my son. So you actually put these headlights, they hook to it, and and they shine. It is so dodgy. But now she's got headlights on, and yeah. I'm normally well hated in my house, and that just added to the hatred. Hannah, do you want some headlights for your Crocs? Headlights for your Crocs, Hannah? What additional bits do you put on your Crocs? Guys, and then also just, I think one of the things we've seen is this bit here. In terms of the spread of ideas, it goes so rapidly. People realize so quickly what is happening in the world, and social media and obviously 24-hour news stations, etc., do that. But the simple truth is, if there is an opportunity to spread ideas, then obviously with all of that comes the negativity and mis and disinformation. Guys, and then, yeah, if we look at world financial markets, there is not a moment in a day, in a 24-hour period, where you're not having trade somewhere in the globe, somewhere on the globe. And what it means is if you invest overseas, you can go to bed wealthy and wake up poor, because that's the reality of a 24-hour investment cycle. Somewhere in the world, every moment of every day, somebody is trading shares. Some stock exchange is trading shares. Right. Any questions in terms of that? Now, this obviously will center a lot, guys, on technology, and I think that we have to be aware of that. So here we're looking at macro environmental factors at country level. Now, I know that's quite a strange question and a strange way to ask the question. But remember, if you're a multinational, you have to be concerned about the pestle factors at two levels. You first of all have to be concerned about, and we're only looking at the outside blockade, guys, the macro environment. I'm pretty sure that's what the question is. Let me just verify that very quickly. Macro environment. So you are not only concerned about those macro environmental factors at a country level, you also have to be concerned at a global level. So if you're a multinational, you have two layers of tracking that you have to look at. You have two layers of analyses and predictions that you have to make. And that's what makes it very difficult. Guys, can I just see, have I shared this with you? Hold on a second. Have I shared that with you? Okay. So whenever you do any form of macro analysis, you default to this, guys. What is nice about the pestle analysis here is that it actually tells you what specific elements to look for. So when you look at doing a pestle analysis on South Africa, corruption is a huge issue. Um, issues in terms of restrictive labor laws, issues in terms of import duties, a foreign trade policy that is confusing, that invites but essentially doesn't allow us to support it through systems in South Africa, very low economic growth. The nice thing, if you plan to export, you do really well because the rand is quite weak. So we've seen companies settle call centers in South Africa, and people work on call centers. Don't know if anyone has ever worked in a call center, because we used to joke about India being the call center destination. It now is South Africa because of the exchange rate. I know of people who work in call centers, and the holding company refers to them as slave labor. Okay, guys, you can look at some of those other bits and pieces in terms of social elements. Again, you can have a glance at that. And then technology and innovation. I'm not going to do that for you. What is our weather like? And then the laws. Please don't try, guys, and separate pestle, the P and the L. Rather just refer to political stroke legal elements, because those are so closely linked. I'll stick this on the group if you guys are okay with that. I'll put it on the group. Okay, I'll put it on the group now. Right. Okay. So in terms of the question, yeah, not too dramatic in terms of the learning unit. Oh, goodness me, I didn't look at the pages. Apologies. So it's pages 17. Hold on. 18, 19, 21. Oh no, not at a global level. We're looking at a country level. Silly. Um, Macro, yeah. My apologies, guys. At a country level. Right, so we're looking at Learning Unit 4, slides 23 to 28. Is that correct? 23 to 28. Okay. Remember the rubrics. Remember the rubrics. Sorry, that's guys. Please ignore this stuff. It's not peer reviewed. I cannot get it through these people's thick skulls that we need peer reviewed recommended readings. My apologies for that. Okay, don't use those. We use peer reviewed, and I wish somebody would listen to my recordings because I've been doing this for years, complaining about that. Okay, guys. So if we look at strategic leadership, so we are looking at learning unit. My gosh, what have I done here? We're looking at learning unit 5. So if we look very quickly, what are the questions? So the first one, differentiate between strategic, visionary, and managerial leaders. Come on, where is it now? Sorry, I have a slide devoted to that. My apologies. My apologies for this, guys. See, okay, my apologies. Here it is. So let me just make sure what they're asking there. Strategic, visionary, and managerial leadership. No wonder I can't find it. Guys, please have a glance at the textbook pages 428 and 429. The answer is there. So, visionary leaders, as the name suggests, are your Steve Jobs kind of individuals. Steve Jobs kind of individuals are able to look at the environment, look at the world, look around them, and create an exciting vision for the future. Remember, when we talk about what a vision does, a vision statement is the thing that inspires employees to aspire to be great. And Steve Jobs looked at the world in a very, very different way. So we think of Steve Jobs as a visionary leader, very good at creating this inspirational, motivational, ambitious future, which is your vision. Managerial leaders are those leaders that are really good at making things happen. They are able to connect the different components within the organization to give life to a visionary leader's um, future. So what we see in terms of managerial leadership, these are people that can work and connect and make sure and give life to the ideals within the vision. And then the other one is strategic leader. I don't know. Guys, can you maybe just do some reading on strategic leadership? Let me share a slide on that. Hold on a second. My apologies for that. So, strategic leadership is that. Um, Guys, can I ask, how do I share that? Hold on a second. I'll just cut it from there. And I'll also let you know which textbook it's from. So if you want to reference it, you can. Do you want me to do that for you guys? So, guys, are you still there? Elon Musk is definitely a visionary leader. Hold on a second. Let me just plug it in somewhere and I'll send it to you guys. And I'll stick the textbook that's from on there as well. So you can just paraphrase it, don't. Um, Sorry, guys, I'm a little bit unorganized, but I'm pretty sure that's fine. I'll stick it on the WhatsApp group, okay? Right. So the first one is LU5. What slide did I say? Yeah, thank you, Steph. My brain is honestly so stupid today. Okay. So Musk, oh my gosh, transformation and transactional leaders. I definitely have this, but yeah, the way things are going, other lecturers would have been way more organized, guys. So we look at slides, Learning Unit 5, slides 12, 13, 14, 15, so 12 to 16. Yeah, guys, for me, and I'm not going to type it in there. For me, he's a visionary leader. You know, what worries me sometimes is that the way he leads is he has a great idea, he has a great vision for the future, but I think sometimes it requires a lot of people around him to give substance to that. And in my mind, he is absolutely a visionary leader. I think he is good at seeing things that other people would never dream of um, in terms of the environment. But if you want to argue transformational leader, which I don't believe he is, transformational leader is someone like Mandela. Mandela, when he came out of prison, the first thing he did is he forgave people for locking him up. And then he used the 1995 World Cup as a way of transforming South Africa into a democracy and lots of transformational change. So if you want to see transformational leadership in action, and it's a must see, and you don't watch it for the rugby, you don't watch it for shorty Matt Damon being Francois Pienaar and the awful accents. You watch it for Morgan Freeman, who at some point you believe you're watching Mandela, Invictus. I don't know if anyone has seen Invictus. But in Invictus, and I don't have enough time to go through this, there is there are so many behaviors that tie in with what transformational leadership is. In particular, these bits here, the idealized influence. I wish people would watch Invictus just to watch Morgan Freeman and that time. I would imagine most of you might not even have been born in 95. Steph, which year were you born in? Hannah, which year were you born in? 92. Okay. You're a baby. Holy guacamole. You are 10 years younger than Stephanie. Hannah, you are a baby. Are you old enough to drink yet? Hendrik, what year? Hendrik, 93. Gosh, you guys are young. Old compared to Hannah, just to say. And Rochelle, oh, for Pete's sake, I hate all of you. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that. Oh my gosh. Goeie beliggenigtig. I can't say Luxem online, obviously, because it's a bit of a swear word. So, guys, in terms of leader, I really believe he's a visionary leader. Well, I'm ancient, but not just old, I'm ancient. I was old in 1995 already. And then reasons to support your answer, and then ethical practices, guys. So, in terms of learning unit 5, ethical practices, yeah, so I'm a little bit concerned that we don't have practices in here. um, you might have to do a little bit of extra work. Um, practices. There it is. What am I talking about? And there are the strategic leaders and stuff as well. Sorry, guys, learning unit, whatever that is, 5, slide 28. Now remember, please do a bit of LU5 slide. This is a hell of a long assignment. This is a hell of a long assignment. Yeah, this is a long assignment. Please remember the rubrics here. And just because you said I'm old, Rachel, I'm going to fail you. So good luck passing this one, but good luck passing this module. I'll see you do it with someone else next year. Okay, guys. Any questions? Any comments?